10:15 p.m., June 14, 1986. A powerful car bomb explodes in front of the Why Not Bar, a popular Durban night spot. 3 people die, 67 are injured. Helen Kearney was the barmaid.
There was this enormous explosion. What I remember is seeing flashing lights of all colours, red, blue, green, and a horrendous noise that actually went right down into your body. But there was like a vacuum after that. There was silence. And then all of a sudden there was this swishing sound and everything just went berserk. I don't know, when I spoke to the bomb squad afterwards, they told me it's an impact. There's a fraction of a second or 2 seconds before it actually takes everything away in its stride. It happened so fast, and we didn't know what had happened. It was so tremendous that for the moment you don't know what had happened. Then we saw it in its full colours. It was a massive bloodbath with flesh and blood dripping from the walls. I remember seeing half a head on an optic. I remember smelling burning flesh and dragging people out. There were people walking around in circles. They had splinters of glass, enormous, through their heads, through their backs. They didn't know what had happened. 1 minute they're enjoying a beer and laughing to the music, and the next minute there was this chaos. It has lived with me for about 10 years now. I still have nightmares because you wake up and you see this in front of you again.
Umkhonto Sizwe soldier Robert McBride was given 3 death sentences for planting the bomb. After 4 years on death row, he was reprieved and in 1991 given amnesty. He is now a diplomat at the Department of Foreign Affairs. This made the sisters of one of those killed in the Why Not Bar, Marshall Gerard, angry and bitter.
He is seen in some circles as being some sort of liberation activist, people's hero, but in our opinion, all he did was contribute to the violence, hatred, and segregation that we all wanted to disappear. He had a choice whether to plant that terrible bomb or not, and he made his choice. Michelle and the other 2 young ladies, they didn't have a choice. He made their choice for them. Mr. McBride cannot justify his position in the government of national unity, as he's a cold-blooded murderer who can never wipe away the pain, sorrow, and anguish and destruction he caused.
Mr. McBride had been aware of the hazards of the bomb he planted to life and limb. Robert McBride's life was given back to him to live as he seems fit, but I do feel that he has no right to be in public office. After all, he is a convicted murderer.
On Friday, we met with Robert McBride in the gardens of the Union Buildings, where he now works.
This particular operation cannot be seen in isolation to what the state was doing. It was after a period of a number of cross-border raids in which men, women, and children, mostly not even members of the ANC, mostly non-combatants of those who were ANC members, were killed. It was after the Kabwe conference in which the ANC decided to step up its military activity. It was in a time when the ANC decided they would not show as much restraint as they did in the past in going after enemy personnel. It was a time when the word, for example, of caught in crossfire, the phrase came about. There was a time when there was a state of emergency, where we had a faster system in the country, detention without trial, where there was no democracy, when apartheid was regarded as a crime against humanity. It is a time when we, who were youth activists, had become radicalized, been in and out of detention, assaulted by police, harassed. It's a time when it was we were very susceptible to carrying out such operations because of the heat and indeed the hatred in the country.
But still, it wasn't your decision. The target wasn't your decision. The method of attack wasn't your decision. Did you get orders from MK High Command?
Yes, I received orders. I was part of the branch of the MK that was called Special Operations. The material for the bomb blast was provided to me by the ANC. It's material that's only been used in car bomb blasts. So clearly the instructions came from within the ANC.
Even as far as specifically the target?
Specifically the target also. Subsequently, I've learned that there's a possibility that there might have been false information given by agent provocateur in regards to the intelligence. Now, until that, I heard that, I believe it was the right target.
Why not go for Natal Command, not too far away?
Natal Command was inaccessible with a car bomb, and I was given specific instructions, and I was given material for a car bomb. I was not given other material, for example, mortars, which could have been lobbed from the beach or something into Natal Command. The information given was that Natal Command off-duty personnel go to these particular areas, and also people from the CR SWAT's police barracks.
In this time of truth and reconciliation, isn't it about time that you named your commanders who gave you this order? Why should you take all the flak?
Well, I've taken all the flak already. I haven't mentioned anybody's name either during interrogation or during my trial or in subsequent interviews. If it's about reconciliation, I don't want anyone to go through what I went through, even if they were my commanders. And I will never mention the names of the people who gave me the orders.
Would you expect them to volunteer their names? Come forward and say, we gave Robert McBride that order.
I think it's going to be very difficult for people to specifically say they gave that order. Mainly because they've seen what I've gone through. Even after expressing remorse and contrition, I'm still an unforgiven person. And I don't think they would come out specifically and say who did what. I would expect that it would be a general statement of support.
Well, you've just said that you're not a forgiven person. Why not look the viewers of this program in the eye and tell them once and for all, and hopefully for the last time, what were your emotions and what are your emotions about it now?
Well, prior to the operation, one must be honest and say you were angry, that you were not an iceberg, you were part of an organized struggle. To a certain extent, you were radicalized. You wanted to carry out the orders of your organization because you believed in the policies, and I still do believe in those policies of democracy, which we have finally achieved. But immediately after the operation, when we heard of the enormity of the pain and suffering we had caused, it's at that moment that I regretted having carried out the operation. Because in the heat of the moment, when you are trained to do a specific job, you are trained to carry out your operation as successfully as possible. You don't always consider the ramifications and the implications of your operation, especially in terms of human life. And it was quite shocking to us that we had actually been responsible for such pain and suffering. And from that moment, the morning after, I regretted it. And I still regret that I had caused pain and suffering to fellow human beings, fellow South Africans. I'd have to live with this on my conscience for the rest of my life, and I'll have to deal with whatever emerges because of this. So I don't unrealistically hope it'll go away. It won't go away. It'll stay with me forever. And I'm prepared to face that. I've been through many trials and tribulations in my time. And I know I must be responsible for that which I have done.